It is asking me. Thank you, Proj.
So he is functioning as a antaryami for all, and he is sarva bhaga bhoktapi. So we understand Sri Upanishad says Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. So that's why he is sarva bhaga bhokta. Actually, everything belongs to him. He is bhoktaram yakatapam. So, but still, Bhagwan Nijananda Truptopi, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is Nija Ananda Trupta. He is blissful in his own. He doesn't need any external means. Nija Ananda Trupta. He is satisfied. But still, Svena Bhagena Trikapal Purodashen Priyamana. So he accepts his share and he is pleased. And that's why further Eva Daksham Abhash Sambodhya Babashe. Then he speaks to Daksha. So now further verse Supreme Lord will be speaking.
Proj, I have a quick question.
Yes,
I did not understand. He was simply satisfied with his share of sacrificial offerings. Like, what is the meaning of this? He was simply satisfied with his share. That
that's
means,
what
was
we
it a
discussed. He's a Nija. One thing we saw, he's uh, as Sridhar Swami has mentioned that Sarva Bhaga Bhoktapi, that is, he is as per Ishavasya principle, everything belongs to him. He is supreme enjoyer. We understand whether it is Ishopanishad or Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Everywhere the clarity is there that everything belongs to the Lord. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. And Matta Sarvam. Because everything is Lord's, so he is actual the enjoyer of everything. But then still he chooses, okay, whatever share you give to me in the sacrifice, I'll be satisfied with that. So in sacrifice, there is share for everyone, for Lord Vishnu, for Lord Brahma, for Lord Shiva, different demigods. So when the share is meant for different people, and Lord is not encroaching upon another share, even though everything belongs to him, still he is satisfied with his own share of sacrifice. Is it clear what I'm trying to say?
yes, yes, yes. It's like, Lord's magnanimity. Yeah, we can say
Yeah.
like.
If you see here, word is used Priyamana Ivanagha. Eva. Priyamana Eva. As if pleased. Not actually pleased. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that why he was not actually pleased? Because he had offended Lord Shiva. But then, as we saw here, Prabhupada mentions that Bhadra was referred to Vidurji. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that for Vidura, the word comes here anagha, eva anagha, priyamana eva anagha. So again, that Vidura, you are sinless means the way Daksha commits offenses, but you are without offenses. So Lord is actually not pleased with Daksha, but because you are sinless, so Lord is pleased with you. Then we will find that Lord uses the words anasuyave and anaga to this Lord, Arjun also. So like that, Lord is pleased with the devotees who don't commit such offenses unto the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. And that's why he is Vidura is seen as proper example of a proper person. That's what is mentioned. Purple Prabhupada is, yeah, this is 5.29 Bhaktaram Tapasam. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu has nothing to demand from anyone. He is self satisfied, self sufficient, but he accepts the offerings of Yajna because of his friendly attitude toward all living entities. When his share of the sacrificial results was offered to him, he appeared very pleased. So, Prabhupada now, based on this, he is giving understanding of Bhagavad Gita 9.26. If someone offers something with love and devotion, Lord accepts it. That is Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. So he accepts such offerings because, as Super Soul, he has such a friendly attitude toward all living entities, Sarvatmataya. Another point here is that he does not encourage upon another share. So this again Ishavasya principle. In the Yajna, there is a share for the demigods. That is, we discussed it.
But one short comment was like, if we everybody is getting share, so then some persons may think that Lord is on, similar platform with other demigods. So is this not little disadvantageous method of worship, where people may misunderstand the position of the Lord and put him on similar platform with the demigods?
Right, what you are saying. Point is that uh, Lord being so kind, he agrees that is Lord's magnanimity. Now, from seeing perspective of whether such kind of thing should happen or not, so we find even in family, uh, not like somewhat culture, not we are saying very highly advanced cultured families, somewhat culture also they have this tradition. Modern times, I cannot say how things happen, but then somewhat culture family, the system is first elders are served. That is the system. So Supreme Personality of Godhead is given first share. So that clearly indicates, gives clarity that in the family of Supreme Whole, that he is the Supreme. Like in his family, there may be various personalities. There may be his guna avtaras, his expansions, or his uh, vibhinnanshas, like living entities. Everything will be there. But then first share is offered to the Supreme Lord. So that is very clear that he is the head of the family. The way in normal traditional family culture, the due respect is given to the elder members, and that is they have the detailed system also, unless and until that head of the family comes, till that time other members they don't actually start and all. So there are many etiquettes they follow in that kind of family culture. So this is also the family of the Supreme Lord, and we see that yes, that Supreme Lord is given first share, and there is as such nothing wrong about it. If the share is not given, then problem is people will not be able to recognize that he is the head of the family. So it is a very practical and right way. But if we say that everything should be given to the Lord, then because people are in the material world, conditioned living entities, so accordingly everyone must be satisfied, and that too, as we discussed earlier, because first share is given to the Lord, it is offered to the Lord. So rest everything that becomes prasad of the Lord. And as Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, every demigod, all of them, they desire that we want the Vishnu prasad, the prasad of the Lord. So there is as such nothing wrong in the system. It's the only thing that we may feel bit different, because modern times this question of equality, like as Prabhupada mentions in his book Hare Krishna Challenge, that men women equality and such kind of things issues are coming. This modern way of thought process, but then traditional there is no issue with that, and rather the people those who are involved into it, brahmanas, they are very happy with the system. Is
Thank
it
you,
clear
Rohit.
for you?
Yes, thank you.
So here, as Prabhupada mentions, they give the demigods proper respect. So here Prabhupada is saying, although Vaishnavas accept Lord Vishnu as the supreme, means the focus is only Lord, but still they are not prone to offend demigods. Even though there is ekantika bhakti Govinde, like no, other than Supreme Lord, there is no other focus, no other person to be worshipped. Very clear. But still, demigods are not offended. So they give the demigods proper respect. And Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. For a Vaishnava, there is no possibility of offending any demigods, and the demigods are also pleased with the Vaishnava because they are faultless devotees of Lord Vishnu. So this is a very nice thing Prabhupada has mentioned, that they are faultless devotees. So when we say faultless, can someone say what exactly this word indicates here? Faultless.
Does it mean that there is no offense in the Vaishnavas
Yeah,
in any
nice,
category?
nice. So basically, as you said, one cannot find the fault, that is, devotees properly follow the etiquettes of dealings with the Supreme Lord, Vaishnavas, with demigods, with living entities. So when they are in with proper vision and proper etiquette, there is no question of finding faults with them. When person gives up Vaishnava etiquettes, or like no doesn't follow it properly, then people can easily find, okay, this is the problem, this is the fault and all. But then these devotees, they follow proper Vaishnava etiquettes, and because of their wonderful conduct, Prabhupada has mentioned that they are faultless devotees of Lord Vishnu. Now here Supreme Lord starts speaking. Text 50. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aham Brahma cha Sarvascha जगतः कारणं परम् आत्मेश्वर उपद्रष्टा स्वयं दृग् अविशेषणः.
Lord Vishnu replied, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and I are the supreme cause of the material manifestation. I am the supersoul, the self sufficient witness. But impersonally, there is no difference between Brahma, Lord Shiva, and me.
यो अहम जगतः कारणम् आत्मा च ईश्वरश्च उपद्रष्टा. उपद्रष्टा, that is sakshi or witness. च स्वयं प्रकाशः च nirupadhihi cha. So, as mentioned here in the translation, we understand that how the Supreme Lord is the cause of the Jagataha universe. He is Atma, he is Super Soul, he is Ishvaraha, he is the controller, he is witness, he is self effulgent, and he is without any designations. And Lord says, Sa eva Brahma Sharvascha Ityanvaya. So I am that same Brahma, I am the Sharvaha. Sharva, that is referring to the Lord Shiva, like Ishan and other names are there. Like this is Sharva also, Lord Shiva's name. So Vishwanath Chakra Thakur says that here Lord is instructing that to Daksha that do not again commit such offenses because a Visheshana, we are three of us are non-different. In purport Rupa says Lord Brahma was born out of the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu. So what is the name of Lord Brahma? Because he was born from transcendental body of Lord Vishnu.
No, a very short thought that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. That time he does not say that, the other, like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma and me are the cause of the material manifestation. But here he is saying that, is it to instruct Daksha that he should not offend Shiva?
As
That is
we
why
will
he's.
proceed, we'll have clarity. Even the equality of with the living entity is also given. When you are speaking about Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, so we'll see in the further verses, not only with the Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, but there is equality with the living entity. So when we see from the perspective of Acharyas, they give clarity that this equality is based on the qualitative oneness. So that is what is mentioned. So based on that, we can understand.
Prabhuji,
Yes, this is. Yes,
Thank you,
bro.
Guruji.
sorry to disturb. So can we say this equality, what they are mentioning, is because of the Sachit Anand Swarupa, which is actually the impersonal thing. That sense we can say that what Vishnu is saying, that we are same, that is because of all of three are Sachit Anand Swarupa, like that.
I never heard Lord Brahma to have Sachidananda body. Where you heard of this?
So I'm asking this question where Vishnu is saying that me, Shiva and Brahma are impersonally same. So what that impersonal means, maybe on the meaning on the basis of Sachit Ananda we are on the same level. Is it like this? I'm asking actually.
No, no, no. There is no question of Lord Brahma to have Sachidananda body. He also has material body. We have heard of that, how Lord Brahma has body made of intelligence, and that is again material only. That is the intelligence is the prime factor, just like we have earth is the prime factor in our bodies. So that is very clear. And here when a visheshena it is mentioned, as you are saying, if you see, that is there is no difference, or it can mean even the without any designations. So how it is translated, accordingly we can understand it. Visheshan means what, you know? I think adjective, right?
Objective.
So here it is mentioned as avisheshena. So without any designations, that is what we saw in Sridhar Swami's commentary. It's clear, Proji, or not?
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I think you are not satisfied. What happened exactly? Your question is solved, or
No, I'm saying that when Vishnu is saying that impersonally on an impersonal level, me, Lord Brahma, and I'm to say us are not different. So my question was obviously that, but on a personal level means on a personal level they have different things, but in impersonal level they are all divine in the terms of no, uh, the form of
what to speak
Paramatma as
of?
Sachit
When
Ananda. So
you
that sense,
speak of Brahmaji, every living entity is also divine, being part and parcel of the Lord. In that sense, if you say like
it's
that,
true. But Brahmaji is that sense the originator. So that sense he obviously is more realized than a common living entity. That was my feeling.
See, if you speak from spiritual perspective, being part and parcel, then as living entity, Brahmaji is also having Sachidanand body, and that too, Brahmaji is again Jiva. So from that perspective, all are same. But then when we speak from the gradation perspective, certainly within material world, as per seeing the conditioning part, certainly Brahmaji is the topmost. So there is no doubt of it. So what you are saying is true. Only point what we are trying to say that this equality is Lord that Lord has mentioned is because these three are Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. They are guna avtaras. So because they are guna avtaras, so that equality is mentioned for three of them. And when the equality is mentioned with the living entity, that is because they are Tatastha Shakti of the Lord. So that's what here in this purpose Prabhupada has mentioned. Okay. Okay, as we'll proceed, you'll have more clarity based on purport, and Prabhupada has nicely given these details. So Prabhupada says, Lord Brahma was caused by Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva came from Lord Brahma. So Lord Vishnu is supreme cause. And then he speaks about Shankaracharya saying, Narayana Parvavektat. Lord Vishnu is the origin and Brahma and Shiva are manifested after creation. And there are many verses, even in 10.8, Prabhupada has given many detailed verses from Maha Upanishad and many other places. Lord Vishnu is also Atmeshwara, the super soul in everyone. Under his direction, everything is prompted from within. For example, in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Tene Brahmhridaya Adikave. He first educated Lord Brahma from within. Aham Adir Hi Devanam is the origin. Then 10.8, Aham Sarvasya Prabhaha. And then Vedanta Sutra Janmadhyasyataha. Again, Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Upanishad, it is stated, Yato va imani bhutani jayante. So everything is generated from Lord Vishnu. Everything is maintained by him and everything is annihilated by his energy. Therefore, by their actions and reactions, the energies which come from him create the cosmic manifestations and also dissolve the whole creation. So, when it is mentioned that he is generating, maintaining, and annihilating, so through his guna avtaras, and accordingly, there are those presiding deities. Thus, the Lord is the cause and also the effect. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. So Prabhupada says, in the highest vision, nothing is beyond Brahman, and therefore Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are certainly non-different from him. So, because everything is Brahman, so certainly they are also non-different. Yes, Shobha Lakshmi Mataji.
Prabhuji, Brahma is called Aja, no?
Yeah, right.
So, Prabhuji, even the boat is called Aja. Is there any?
Lord is also called as Aja. In Bhagavad Gita, Ajopi Sannavyatma Bhutanam Ishvara. So, Aja, it can have different meanings, but Aja refers to Ja means Jayate, which takes birth, but Aja, which doesn't take birth. So, Supreme Lord doesn't take birth because he is eternal, and Lord Brahma, because he is born from the Supreme Lord, he has no mother as such. Like he is directly coming from the Supreme Lord without help of Lakshmi ji. So he is mentioned as Swayam Bhu, Swayam Bhavati, from who appeared from the Supreme Lord himself. So,
But like the boat is also called Aja. So, is there any reason for that?
what is the question? Sorry.
Okay, boat in Sanskrit is called Aja, no?
Right, right, yeah.
So, is there any reason for that?
No, there can be one word can have multiple meanings. Only the thing is that where which meaning to be taken, that we understand based on how acharyas give those kind of meanings. Based on context, appropriate meanings are given.
Okay.
Text 51. Atmamayam samavishya soham gunamayim dvija sujan rakshan haran vishwam dadre sadnyam kriyochitam.
The Lord continued, my dear Dakshadvija, I am the original personality of Godhead. But in order to create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation, I act through my material energy, and according to the different grades of activity, my representations are differently named.
So here Sridhar Swami says, Kuta ityat aha. So how is it that aham eva atma mayam adhishtaya? So we know Bhagavad Gita also Lord says atma sambhavami atma maya jagat sushtadi kurvan such a san sarva shakti kriyojitam sadnyam dharayami. So that's how Lord is saying by my this atma maya I am causing this jagat sushtadi, that is creation, maintenance. Adi refers to even annihilation. So that Lord does through all his energies. Accordingly, uchitam sadnyam dharayami. So the kind of activity that is performed, accordingly appropriate names are taken. Sadnyam. So Lord accepts it. ननु परमेश्वरः खलु एक एव. Now here akshep is taken. So, oh, you say three of you are equal, but then we have heard how Parmeshwar is only one. Indeed, Parmeshwara is one. Such a Bhavan eva Shastreshu Uchyat iti. In the scriptures, we understand that that is you only. So, Samavishadhishtaya Sapriduna Eka eva ham. So then Lord is explaining what we saw, that these are different names. Accordingly, I act. Purport. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.5. Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho. The whole world is energy released from the Supreme Source, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who it is further stated in Bhagavad Gita, acts in superior energies and inferior energies. So we know this Bhumirapu and as mentioned 7. Jiva Bhutama. The superior energy is the living entity who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So, because emanated from him, so non-different. That is what is given. And various forms. The same living entity acts under the influence of the different qualities of material nature. The entities have different bodies, but originally, in the beginning of creation, Lord Vishnu is alone. Eko Bahusyam. For the purpose of creation, Brahma is manifested, and for annihilation, there is Lord Shiva. As far as the spiritual entrance into the material world is concerned, all beings are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but under the coverings of different material qualities, they have different names. So Prabhupada says how both Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are Gunavataras. And Vishnu with them accepts control of the quality of goodness. Therefore, he is also qualitative incarnation like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So, considering qualitative incarnation, three of them are non-different because they are Gunavataras. Actually, the different names exist for different directions. Otherwise, the origin is one only. So, even though different names are there, but then the origin is the Supreme Lord. Text me.
Something.
तस्मिन् ब्रह्मण्यद्वितीये
Anything चालू आहे online?
केवले
बरं
परमात्मनि
आहे का?
ब्रह्मरुद्रौ च
हा?
भूतानि भेदेनाज्ञोनुपश्यति.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, I am not the co-host, Prabhuji. So if
Oh,
you can make me once again, because I joined from a different device, I'll read after that.
okay.
Thank you. The Lord continued, one who is not in proper knowledge thinks that demigods like Brahma and Shiva are independent, or he even thinks that the living entities are independent.
तस्मिन् केवले अद्वितीये समान असमान जातीय भेदरहिते. So there this kind of uh, bhed or difference, this is equal or not equal, that is not there. मयि ब्रह्मरुद्रो भूतानि च भेदेन अज्ञः पश्यति इत्यर्थः. So me, that is Supreme Lord, and Brahma, Rudra. So Brahma Rudro, both of them are mentioned. And then Bhutani cha, and even living entities. If someone sees the difference, that is Adnyaha, such person must be understood to be the ignorant. Adnyaha Pashyati, that person who is ignorant, he will see the difference between us. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, ननु ब्रह्मणो हिरण्यगर्भत्वेन जीवत्वात्. Lord Brahma, he takes the form of Hiranyagarbha, and but then this Lord Brahma is living entity, Jivatva. Rudrasya Isharatvepi, even though Rudra is Ishvara, but Gunasparshat, Katham Toyoho Tat Abhedas Tatra Kaimutya Nyayana a Brahma Rudro Cheti. So the question is raised, even Lord Shiva, even though he is a Ishvara, but then because of coming in contact with the modes, he has come in contact with the modes. So how can we say that there is no difference between you and Brahma and Rudra? Bhutani Jivan api adnyeva bheden pashyati natu vidnyaha kim ut Brahma Rudro. So it is said that even living entities, if someone sees the difference with the Lord, between Lord and living entities, so that is because of ignorance. So, natu vidnya, such person is not intelligent. Then what to speak of? So here Kaimutya Nyaya or Kim Uta, using Kaimutya Nyaya, it is said Brahma Rudro Bhutanam Madhyat Tatastha Shaktitvat. So Bhutanam Madhyat Tatastha Shaktitvat, because these living entities, they are my Tatastha Shakti. And Brahma Rudrayoho Gunavataratvat Madbheda Ityat. So Brahma and Rudra, both they are my Gunavataras. So this is how the clarity is given that yes, that's how they are non-different from me.
Prabhuji, what was that Nyay? Uta, what? Kim Uta?
Kaimutya Nyaya, Kim Ut, what to speak of? If living entities are non-different, because living entities we understand all various kinds of living entities. It can be even means in various degraded forms also, but then based understanding being as a part and parcel of the Lord, they are all non-different from the Lord. So if that is the case, then what to speak of the personalities like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva?
Yes, Prabhuji, got it. Thank you.
The living entities, yeah, here same thing. Yeah. So Prabhupada says this Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, super soul is directing everyone in the activities of the material modes of nature. No one can act independently of the sanction of the Lord, and therefore indirectly no one is different from the Supreme Person. So can someone say what Prabhupada is mentioning here? So when we see here, Prabhupada is mentioning that considering the purpose, considering the goal, everyone is on the same path, on the same goal, acting as per the desire of the Lord. So from that perspective, no one is different from the Supreme Person. And there is no possibility also that someone can do something independently. So that's how their purpose is one and they are non-different.
But Broji, we see that demons are always against the will of the Lord. So there, how can we say that they are acting
Now,
according to
even
Lord?
when we say about demons, they are acting against the will of the Lord, but they cannot do anything independent of the Lord's sanction. So when we say someone wants to smoke a cigar, a cigarette, someone wants to smoke, then is it that that person smokes it on, like, no, okay, I decide now what Lord will do. So uh, rather, even if we want to lift our hand, uh, pick up a cigar or any, we are just taking example of, as you spoke about, asuras or demonic people. So considering that, for them also every action must be sanctioned by the Supreme Lord as a super soul in everyone's heart. He is Upadrashta Anumanta. If he doesn't sanction, person can do nothing. So the point is, yes, Supreme Lord sanctions it. So without Lord's sanction, as we saw earlier, even blade of a grass cannot move. So when we say, okay, they are acting against the will of the Lord, so if Lord doesn't provide that facility, then this is forced love. And there is no question of love when we say it is forced love. That is force only. But then love means there is freedom. So when they will act on their own for the pleasure of the Lord, that is actually the loving transaction. So from that perspective, there is nothing wrong even if they are acting, because that is the facility in the material world. Material world is designed for that. So from that perspective, there will be living entities who are acting against the will of the Lord. But again, that action is also sanctioned by the Lord. If Lord doesn't sanction that action, no one can do anything. So the point is, it is everything is as per the sanction of the Lord. So that's what Prabhupada has mentioned. Is it clear, Puji?
Ah, yes, Broji. So that is why they are not different from the Lord, because they
Yeah,
are parcel of the Lord completely.
yeah.
Thank you.
Text 53. Yatha puman swangeshu shirah panyadishu kvachit पारक्य बुद्धिं कुरुते एवं भूतेषु मत्परः.
A person with average intelligence does not think the head and other parts of the body to be separate. Similarly, my devotee does not differentiate Vishnu, the all pervading personality of Godhead, from anything or any living entity.
So here Sridhar Swami says, Vidvans to bhedam na pashyati. The person who is intelligent, he will not see such kind of differences. But then sadrushtantam. So with the example. So here we see what is the example that is given. So just like yatha puman na swangeshu shira panyadishu kvachit. That is the way person, intelligent person he will understand the head, hands, these are all different limbs of the body, and from that perspective they are not different from the body. Similarly, all these living entities, they are limbs of the Supreme Lord, and there is no question of seeing them differently. That is what the uh, abhinadrak, that's how the, that is a right perception, right understanding, right way of seeing. भूतानि तु मद्भक्तोऽपि स्वभेदेन पश्येत इत्याह स्वशिरः पाण्यादिषु सुख दुःखे यथा तथैव सर्वभूतेषु अपि सुख दुःखे पश्यति इत्येव भक्तानाम अभेद दर्शनम इत्यर्थः. So even my devotees, they see mad bhaktopi, even like no devotees themselves, they see uh, non-difference with other living entities. So abhedena, there is no bheda with other living entities. That is how they see. So shirha panyadishu sukha dukkhe. So that's how it is mentioned that shira, one's own head, pani, hands, they are like parts of the body. Just like a devotee, he will see that non-difference even in terms of sukha dukkhe, even in happiness and distress. Yatha tathaiva sarvabhuteshu api sukh dukkhe pashe. So he sees their happiness and distress as his own. So bhaktanam abheda darshanam. This is how the abhed or non-difference is practiced by the devotees. So anyone remembers? There is Chanakya Pandit says something in regards to this. Prabhupada quotes. Okay. So he says that Atma Bhuteshu, that is seeing all other living entities like the way we see, like no, we see our own interest, like that we have to see other living entities also. Prabhupada ji is mentioning here about Panditaha Samadarshinaha Vidya Vinay Sampanya. Here also we see in commentary, Sridhar Swami is mentioning about Vidwanstu, that is the intelligent person, scholar. Similarly, Prabhupada ji has taken this Panditaha Samadarshinaha, that is how the Panditaha, the intelligent person, how he will see learned person, that is good. Devotees are compassionate to every conditioned soul, and therefore they are known as aparakya buddhi. So what is aparakya? So in general sense, even in Prahlad Maharaja's teaching, there we find Chanda Amarak, they try to teach him this is friend, this is enemy, all that. So that is a way of creating difference between the living entities, that this is our, that is theirs, or like no, creating the differences. But then this aparakya buddhi, that is nothing is parakya or of uh, that is unrelated to us. Everything is ours because we are all part of the same family. We are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So that's a aparakya buddhi. When person sees that that child is of someone else, so there is different kind of dealing. When there is one's own child, there is different kind of dealing. So when one sees one's own and something of others with that mentality, mine and others, so that kind of intelligence gives rise to different way of dealing, like no. So that's why here it is mentioned. But then devotees are compassionate to every conditioned soul. That's why they have aparakya buddhi. If a particular part of the body is diseased, the whole attention of the body goes to that part. Similarly, devotees care for any person who is forgetful of Krishna and therefore in material consciousness. The equal vision of the devotee is that he works to get all living entities back home, back to Godhead. So when here Samadarshinaha it is mentioned, this is what the equality. Otherwise, if someone says that, just like Prabhupada was asked, there are so many temples in India and so many places. Why there is need of building more temples? So Prabhupada says, yes, there may be so many temples, but still these are our own. So when Prabhupada wants to implement something, he will not be able to implement the process of Krishna consciousness in someone else's place. They will not be agreeing, and there will be so many conditions. Just like one of the person, he agreed to give some donation to Prabhupada, but he said, I don't want to build a small temple. I want to build big temple. So much expenses and all. So as person has his investment, he has his own way of functioning also. But then Prabhupada wanted that this pure message should be given to everyone and pure practices are followed. And that's why there must be some place where such exemplary action, exemplary practices can be seen. And that's how there is need of a separate arrangement. So if that separate arrangement is there, it doesn't mean that devotee doesn't have equal vision. What is the right way of thinking about equal vision? That is given here, that he works to get all living entities back home, back to Godhead. And that's what Prabhupada did through his institution, through his temples. Text 54. त्रयाणामेक भावानां यो न पश्यति वैभिदां सर्वभूतात्मनां ब्रह्मन् सशान्तिम् अधिगच्छति.
The Lord continued, one who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or the living entities in general to be separate from the Supreme, and who knows Brahman actually realizes peace, others do not.
तस्मादेवम् एक पश्यन् कृतार्थः भवति इत्याह. So it is very important that you see based on whatever we discuss. So you should see the Aikya or on non-difference you should see. Trayanam eko bhava swarupam esham. So according to Swarupa, this is what the eka bhavaha, that is we are all equal. Vishwanath Chakra Thakur says, Abheda darshanasya phalam aha trayanam iti. So whatever we discuss about Abheda darshanasya phalam, that is seeing non-difference, the phala or the result of it, that is stated in this verse. But two words are very significant in this verse. Trayanam indicates three: Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. Bhidam means different. They are three and therefore they are separate, but at the same time they are one. So Prabhupada is speaking here about Achintya Bheda Ved. In Brahma Samhita he quotes Kshir and Dadhi. How? They are simultaneously one and different. Both are milk, but the yogurt has become changed. In order to achieve real peace, one should see everything and every Brahma and Lord Shiva is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why this is mentioned that, okay, in order to achieve real peace, why is it so? That non-difference. Okay, so Prabhupada says here about unity in diversity. Text 55. Maitreya Uvacha evam bhagavataदिष्टः प्रजापति पतिर्हरिम् अर्चित्वा क्रतुना स्वेन देवान् उभयतो अयजत्.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The sage Maitreya said, thus Daksha, the head of the all Prajapatis, having been nicely instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worshipped Lord Vishnu. After worshipping him by performing the prescribed sacrificial ceremonies, Daksha separately worshipped Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva.
Yeah, so here Prajapati is referring to Daksha, and Ubhayata, that is means by both ways. What are those both ways? Ubhayata angai pradhanena cha, that is by primary and secondary means both ways he worship. But Lord Vishnu should be offered everything, and his prasad should be distributed to all the demigods. So Prabhupada says how in Jagannath Puri also prasad is distributed to demigods. The deity of Bhagalin is worshipped with the prasad of Vishnu, and also in the famous Lord Shiva temple of Bhubaneswar, the prasad of Lord Vishnu or Lord Jagannath is offered to the deity of Lord Shiva. This is Vaishnava principle. So Prabhupada says how Vaishnava respects all living entities, even to the ant. The offering, however, is in relation to the center, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or Vishnu. The devotee who is highly elevated sees the relationship of Krishna in everything. He does not see anything as being independent of Krishna. That is his vision of oneness. रुद्रं च स्वेन भागेन युपाधावत् समाहितः कर्मणोऽवसानेन सोमपानितरानपि उदवस्य सहर्त्विग्भिः सस्नानवभृतं ततः.
With all respect, Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva with his share of the remnants of the yajna. After finishing the ritualistic sacrificial activities, he satisfied all the other demigods and the other people assembled there. Then, after finishing all these duties with the priest, he took a bath and was fully satisfied.
So here udavasyate samapyate, that is when it is mentioned udavasyate, that is that which is samapyate, that which completes, and after that what he has done, anena itya udavasanam tena udavasya samapya, after completing that activity samapya avabhuta snanam chakara, he did avabhuta snan, he took complete bath as per the rites. But Lord Rudra, Shiva was properly worshipped with his share of the remnants of the yajna. Yajna is Vishnu, and whatever prasad is offered to Vishnu is offered to everyone, even to Lord Shiva. Sridhar Swami also comments in this connection, Svena Bhagena, the remnants of the yajna are offered to all the demigods and others. So that is Svena means everyone has their own share, bhag, quota. Text 57. तस्माप्यनुभावेन स्वेनैवावाप्तराधसे धर्म एव मतिं दत्वा त्रिदशास्ते दिवं ययुः.
Hare Krishna. Thus, worshipping the Supreme Lord Vishnu by the ritualistic performance of sacrifice, Daksha was completely situated on the religious path. Moreover, all the demigods who had assembled at the sacrifice blessed him that he might increase his piety, and then they left.
स्वेनैव अनुभावेन आप्तराधसे प्राप्तस्य तस्मा अपि. So even though he had prapta siddhaye, so by properly respecting these demigods, he was blessed. So he received their blessings. Prapta siddhaye, that is mentioned. Tasmai, that is for Daksha, that is for Daksha. Avapta radase, that is prapta siddhaye, that is who siddhaye, siddhi referring to the perfection. So demigods, they actually blessed him and he he attained the perfection. Avapta. Purport. Although Daksha was considerably advanced in religious principles, he awaited the blessings of the demigods. Thus, the great sacrifice conducted by Daksha ended in harmony and peace. So here it is very important to see that he was considerably advanced in religious principles. So how do we understand that he was advanced? So earlier incident that you have studied, we get to see how Daksha, when he came, actually everyone except Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva stood up. Means what? That actually all these demigods, they were having great respect and he was very much advanced. But then now we are able to see that he is seeking blessings from all. So this is Vaishnava way of dealing, that we don't deride or we don't ignore any living entity from the perspective of seeking blessings. We want blessings of everyone. We don't want to get even cursed by even any living entity. Why should we accumulate curses? Rather, we need to get more and more blessings. So that's why he is also receiving blessings here from the demigods. And that's why it is mentioned, although, so even though he was highly advanced, still he awaited the blessings of the demigods. Thus the great sacrifice conducted was ended in harmony and peace. Text 58. एवं दाक्षायणी हित्वा सती पूर्वकलेवरं जज्ञे हिमवतः क्षेत्रे मेनायामिति शुश्रुम.
Any other devotee can read. Very well.
Maitreya said, I have heard that after giving up the body she had received from Dakshayani, his daughter, took her birth in the kingdom of the Himalayas. She was born as the daughter of Menu. I heard this from authoritative sources.
So here Shri Thakur says Menayam refers to Menakayam. So this Mena is Menaka. Who is this Menaka? She is the wife of the king of Himalayas. And that Dakshayani, Sati, she took birth now as daughter of Menaka, that is as Parvati, born from Parvat, that is from Himalaya Parvat. So Parvati. Text 59. Tamev daitam bhuya avrunte patim ambika ananya bhavaika gatim shakti supteva purusham.
Ambika, goddess Durga, who was known as Dakshayani Sati. again accepted Lord Shiva as her husband. Just as different energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead act during the course of a new creation.
So when here it is mentioned as avarumte, that is bhajate. Ananya bhavanam ekaiva gatihi yastam. So she doesn't want anyone else whom she wants to again accept. So that is Lord Shiva only. That's why Ananya Bhavana. No Anya, only Lord Shiva. That is destination she is choosing. Pralaya Kale Sutta Shakti Ishwaram Eva. So just like at the time of Pralaya, that Lord's energy which is in the supta or sleeping state, like that, that is mentioned as Shaktir Eva, that is the energy which takes shelter of the Supreme Lord. That's why Gatihi Yastam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Avarumte bhajate na vidyate anyasmin. Na vidyate anyasmin bhava yasyaha sa. So she is not going to accept anyone else. Mean that is her mood. Ekam gati rupam. So that is the only her gati or destination. And same thing that Sridhar Swami mentioned. So here the understanding that is given that just at the time of pralaya, the Lord's energy takes shelter of the Lord, and later that Shakti again becomes revived. So similarly, the Sati, who actually gave up her body as Dakshayani, now again she has taken shelter of the Lord Shiva. That is, she is again revived. But according to a verse of the Vedic mantras, Parasya Shaktirveda Shruyate Swava. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead has different varieties of energies. Vividaiva. Shakti is feminine and the Lord is Purusha masculine. It is the duty of the female to serve under the Supreme Purusha. So Prabhupada ji is quoting from Bhagavad Gita that all living entities are marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. And therefore all are Shakti, feminine. And therefore it is the duty of all living entities to serve this Supreme Person. So whether it is male or female, all are feminine because all are Lord Shakti. So everyone is meant to serve the Purusham Param. Durga is the representation in the material world of both the marginal and external energy, and Lord Shiva is the representative of the Supreme Person. So both are representing Lord's energies, Bahiranga Shakti or Supreme Lord. That is, Durga is representing Bahiranga Shakti and Lord Shiva is representing the Supreme Lord. The connection of Lord Shiva and Ambika or Durga is eternal. Sati could not accept any husband but Lord Shiva. Rupaji is saying this from Vishwanath Chakravarti's comment saying, Na vidyate anyasmin bhavaha. How Lord Shiva remarried Durga as Himavati, the daughter of the Himalayas, and how Kartikeya was born is a great story in itself. So that earlier you studied how Kartikeya was born. Text 60. Etad bhagavata shambhoho कर्मदक्षाध्वरद्रुहः श्रुतं भागवतात शिष्यात् उद्धवान् मे बृहस्पतिः
Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, I heard the story of the Daksha Yajna, which was devastated by Lord Shiva from Uddhava, a great devotee and a disciple of Brihaspati.
Bruhaspatehe Shishat Uddhavat. So who is that the disciple of Bruhaspati? That is Uddhava, that is mentioned. How I heard? So he says Bruhaspati Shishan Maya Shrutam. So heard from the disciple of Bruhaspati, that is Uddhava. Text 61. Now, till now, whatever the story we saw, how the sacrifice was completed. So, in this whole chapter, we see Rudra Varadanam, that is the benedictions given by Lord Shiva as Brahma and other demigods. They had gone to Kailash and uh, as they desired that, no, revive the limbs of demigods and about other Bhrugu and all. So that was done, Vardhanam. Daksha Jivanam, Daksha was given new life by giving the goat head. Yajna Sandhanam, again we see how the sacrifice was performed. And then Sarva Deva Kruta Vishnu Stutischa. Even we discuss about how various demigods, various kinds of demigods, all of them they glorified Lord Vishnu, praised Lord Vishnu, that we discussed. So now this is the Falashruti, that is the last verse, text 61. Idam pavitram paramisha cheshtitam yashasyam ayusham aghogamarsanam yo nityadakarnya naronu dhunotyagam kaurav bhakti bhavataha.
The great sage Maitreya concluded, if one hears and again narrates with faith and devotion this story of the Daksha Yajna, as it was conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, then certainly one is cleared of all contamination of material existence, O son of Puri.
Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the fourth canto, seventh chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Sacrifice Performed by Daksha. So if you have any questions based on this chapter, we can discuss. Otherwise, we'll proceed to the next chapter. Should we proceed? Okay, no one has questions, so we proceed ahead. Chapter 8. Dhruva Maharaj leaves home for the forest. This chapter, Pratisarga Varnane Dhruvopakhyanam Vimatuh Duruktya Viddhasya Dhruvasya Vanagamanam Tatra Narada Bhagavad Aradhanam Cha. So in this chapter we are going to see how due to Vimatu, that is the co-wife Suruchi, or we can say what is the word? Okay, that is Vimatu. Here even Guru Dara, that is mentioned by in the verse, and even another word is there for other than Guru Dara. What is that word? Let me just check if it is there. Related, we will proceed. So that Vimatu, her bad words, hearing those words, words of chastisement, Dhruva was very much pained, and then with guidance of his mother, this Vimatu is stepmother, but with guidance of his mother Suniti, he goes to the forest, and on the way he is guided by Narad Muni for Bhagavad Aradhanam, how to worship the Supreme Lord. Before we start this chapter, we'll just see Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions that this chapter we see how Dhruva is burning by the words of his stepmother, and he is inspired by his mother's words. He goes for performing austerities, and other things that are mentioned about how here the lineage of Manu's daughters were described, and the lineage from Brahma's sons, so Marichi and others, that was also mentioned. Now, as such, further Manu's son should be described. But then further here, remaining sons of Brahma, they are described. So who are those remaining sons? They are Adharma, and that we'll see. That is there from verse number 2 to 5. So that discussion we'll see. That is lineage of Adharma, and we'll go into the details as we proceed. Takes one. Maitri Uvacha Sanakadya Naradascha Ruburhansorunyati Naite Grahana Brahmasuta Yavan San Urdhvaretasaha.
The great sage Maitreya said, the four great Kumara sages headed by Sanaka, as well as Narada, Ribu, Hamsa, Aruni, and Yati, all sons of Brahma, did not live at home, but became Urdhva Reta or Naitika Brahmacharis, unadulterated celibates.
So here Sridhar Swami has mentioned Ashtame, that Manupudana Prapta that we discuss about Panchavidhi in 5 chapters. This the character of Dhruva is discussed. Ashtame Guru Darokti Rosha Matsarataha Purat. So he leaves the city because of the Guru Dara, as we discussed, that is the stepmother's Ukti, that is her words, or we can say bad words, chastised. So what happened? Rosha Matsarataha. So it caused the anger and envy. So now we have to understand why anger and envy. That as we proceed, we'll see. Nirgatena dhruvenaha tapasa toshanam hare. So as he left, he performed austerities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Here, Navasan, that is Ashritaha, Urdharetasa means Nishtikaha, Other Tesham Manshanas. So because they are celibates, so there is no mention about their further dynasty, because they are brahmacharis, so no question of dynasty, further lineage. When here ribus are mentioned, so Mahabharata describes about these ribus, how these ribus, they reside in the regions higher than the higher regions, and There, the people, rishis, those who stay there, that place is sanctified by their meritorious acts. So just like other gods, demigods we discussed, like that, these are also ribus, they are also sons of Brahma, they are also gods. So it is mentioned that how there is no suffering that one may receive due to association with opposite gender. They do not possess any worldly wealth and they are all free from the guile. Just like other demigods, they subsist on other demigods, they subsist on oblations. But then these rubus, they don't subsist on oblations, even nor on ambrosia, or like generally demigods, they are after nectar. Their forms are also so special that one cannot pursue them by the sense. And there is no question of decrepitude or old age and all that for them. So they are situated in equanimity. So all that, their nice description, wonderful description is there. Prabhupada says in purport, the system of brahmacharya has been current since the birth of Brahma. And they are urdhvaretasa. Now, what is the benefit that he says? Semen is so important that if by the yogic process one can lift the semen up to the brain, he can perform wonderful work. How that wonderful work happens? Because that semen, when it is raised to the brain, then that person's memory is enabled in such a way that person acts very swiftly and the duration of life is increased. So preserving such kind of dhatus, that is very important. Yogis can thus perform all kinds of austerity with steadiness and be elevated to the highest perfectional stage, even to the spiritual world. Vivid examples of brahmacharis who accepted these principles of life, they are mentioned, Chatushkumaras as well as Narada and others. Another significant phrase, others means as we have seen in the verse, Ribhus, Yati, Aroni. Another significant phrase here is Naite Grihan Yavasan. They did not live at home. So that is obvious. Those who live at home, they prefer family life. So Prabhupada says, one who lives with a wife lives at home. Otherwise, a sannyasi or brahmachari, even though he may live in a room or in house, does not live at home. Someone would like to say what Prabhupada is saying here, even though he may live in a room or in house, does not live at home. So further it is mentioned, that is, they did not accept a wife, and so there was no question of their discharging semen. Semen is meant to be discharged when one has a home, a wife, and the intention to beget children. Otherwise, there is no injunction for discharging semen. Dharma aviruddho kamosmi. Now, this narration has dealt with the descendants of Lord Brahma from Manu's daughter Prasuti. Prasuti's daughter was Dakshayani or Sati, in relation to whom the story of the Daksha Yagya was narrated. Maitreya is now explaining about the progeny of the sons of Brahma. Out of the many sons of Brahma, the Brahmachari sons, headed by Sanaka and Narada, did not marry at all, and therefore there is no question of narrating the history of their descendants. Text 2. Now these 4 verses we'll see this progeny of adharma. मृषाधर्मस्य भार्यासीत् दम्भं मायां च शत्रुहन् असुमिथुनं तत्तु निरत्येजगृहे प्रजः.
Another son of Lord Brahma was irreligion, whose wife's name was falsity. From their combination were born two demons named Damba or bluffing and Maya or speaking. These two demons were taken by a demon named Nirishti, who had no children.
अधर्मोऽपि ब्रह्मपुत्रः तस्य वंशम् आह मृषेति चतुर्भिः. As the verse starts with Musha Dharmasya. So it is mentioned that this Adharma is also the son of Brahmaji, and his Vansham, his dynasty is explained here. Dambha Paraprataranam. So when person cheats others, that is Dambha. Maya Tad Uchita Cheshta. So accordingly, the appropriate endeavors for cheating, that is the Maya. Tayoho Sodarayoho api. Sodara, Sa Udara. Both of them, they were born from the same Udara. Tayoho Sodarayo api. Dampatyam adharmanshataya evam uparyapi aprajaha aputraha. So because they were they were born from adharma, so that's why both of them, even though they are sodara, they are brother and sister, but their dealing were like a dampatyam, that is like a husband and wife. That's why adharmansha taya, because they were the portions of adharma. Evam uparyapi. So the way we have understood here, that both of them, they are the son and daughter of the adharma, and their dealings are like a dampatya, like husband and wife. Similarly, evam, further also whatever we are going to discuss, another 3 verses till verse number 5, there also we'll find similar kind of case, that even though they are brother and sister, but they are having dealings like a husband and wife. We'll see Vishwanath Thakur what he says here. Tadeva Manha. Okay, that was it. Adharmopi Brahmaputra Vansham Brusheti. Same like Sridhar Swami. He Shatruhan iti adharma eva shatrustam bhavadvid eva hanti ityartaha. He is referred as Shatruhan, that is one who is the killer of the enemy. So the people, those who are like Shatruhan or referring to Vidura, it is mentioned that because it is adharma, that is the eva shatru, is also the enemy. So what is the duty? Tam bhavadvid eva hanti. Hanti. So ityartha. So because that is also enemy, so you should kill. Dambha parapratarnam, that is same. Okay. purport. It is understood herein that Adharma, a religion, irreligion, was also a son of Brahma, and he married his sister Mrisha. This is the beginning of sex life between brother and sister. So Adharma and sister Mrisha, they are son and daughter of Brahma. Now, after their marriage, further progeny, they are also brothers and sister, and that continues. We'll see. This unnatural combination of sex life can be possible in human society only where there is adharma or irreligion. It is understood that in the beginning of creation, Brahma created not only saintly sons like son Chatushkumara Narada, but also demoniac offspring like Niriti, Adharma, Dhamma, and falsity. Now, when this is discussed, Brahmaji is clarifying how it is based on one's past. Even though there is new creation, still living entities, those who are there in the womb of Mahavishnu, now again they are getting chance, they are getting birth, but then their earlier karma, according to that, everything again uh, revived. So everyone has to individually take the responsibility of one's life, one's karma, one's activities. So Prabhupada says others were also born in their own capacities according to their backgrounds. And that's why he says law of karma continues birth after birth. Text 3. Tayoho samabhavat lobho nikrutischa mahamate ताभ्याम क्रोधश्च हिंसाम च यद्दुरुक्तिः स्वसाकलिः.
Maitreya told Vidura, O great soul, from Damba and Maya were born greed and Nikriti or cunning. From their combination came children named Krodha, anger, and Hinsa, envy. And from their combination were born Kali and his sister Durukti, harsh speech.
Nikriti shatda yat yabhyam kalischa tasya swasa duruktischa. So here it is mentioned that how Nikruti shatata, that is deceit, and from them this anger and violence, and from anger and violence came quarrel and profanity. Text 4. Durukto kaliradatta bhayam mrutyum cha sattama tayoscha mitunam jadne yatana nirayastatha.
O greatest of all good men, by the combination of Kali and harsh speech, were born children named Mrityu, death, and Diti, fear. From the combination of Mrityu and Diti came children named Yatana, excessive pain, and Niraya, hell.
Yeah. So here, as we saw, from Brahmaji came Adharma and Mrusha. Now from Adharma and Mrusha, further we discuss, came Dambha and Maya. From Dambha and Maya came Lobha and Nikriti. From them came Krodha and Hinsa. And then we saw from them Kali and Durukti came. Now from both of them came Mrutyu and Bhiti. And lastly, it is mentioned Yatana and Niraya. So for all of them, even though they are brothers and sisters, but they're having unnatural combination. That is, their dealings are like a husband and wife, that is mentioned. So when all these details we study, how this is not the actual religion. So we saw it was mentioned, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur says that Vidura, you should kill this adharma. So similarly, when we read this, what we have to do? So after reading this, what is the benefit that Falashruti is mentioned in text 5? संग्रहेण मयाख्यातः प्रतिसर्गस्तवानघ त्रिः श्रुत्वैत पुमान् पुण्यं विधो नोत्यात्मनोमलम्.
My dear Vidura, I have summarily explained the causes of devastation. One who hears this description 3 times attains piety and washes the sinful contamination from his soul.
Yeah. So here it is clearly mentioned that one who is trihi shrutvetat puman punyam, that one who hears this 3 times, then he'll be able to get rid of vidunoti atmanahamalam, atma, that is the dirt inside or the sins that will be washed off. Further, Sridhar Swami says, Prati sarga anusarga eva yadva prati sarga pralaya अधर्मस्य प्रलय हेतुत्वात् सर्गत्वम् एतद् अधर्म अंशम. Okay. So sangrahena, that is in brief, in summary, and prati sarga, that is referring to the destruction. So whatever we have studied this verses 2, 3, 4, there the description is about destruction, or that is going to be the cause of destruction, and that's why Vidura is asked that, no, you don't belong to this family, which is family of adharma. So why to hear about such kind of things where dealings are not as per dharma? So that's why here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Punyam varjana dwara punyakaram. That is, one who hears it, one avoids it, and by avoiding it, one can remain on this path of the piety. But the creation takes place on the basis of goodness, but devastation takes place because of irreligion. That is the way of material creation and devastation. Here it is stated that the cause of devastation is adharma or irreligion. And then further details we have seen who are their sons. All these descendants are described as signs of devastation. So what are those descendants? Irreligion and falsity. Born one after another are bluffing, cheating, greed, cunning, anger, envy, quarrel, harsh speech, death, fear, severe pain, and hell. So certainly we understand these are signs of devastation. If a person is pious and hears about these causes of devastation, he will feel hatred for all these. So this is very important, that after hearing this, one should feel hatred. Otherwise, we hear the story that a person, he was told that if you drink, then you will go to hell. Then he says, my father also drinks, he will also go to hell. My friend and this, that, he says, all these people, they drink, so they will also go to hell. Then he says that hell is only for, like, no, heaven for me. So if person is having such kind of mentality, he doesn't have hatred for this adharma or the which has causes of destruction, then certainly he will lead a life by which he will be going yanti adhamam gatim. He will go to such lower destinations, hellish destinations. So piety refers to the process of cleansing the heart as recommended by Lord Chaitanya. One has to cleanse the dust. Cheto darpanamajanam. Here also the same process is recommended. Malam means contamination. Vidunati, we should cleanse it. The possibility of our attaining Krishna consciousness will be easier and we shall not be subjected to repeated devastation. So what is this repeated devastation? Yeah, this is given, repeat and death. But if we seek the path of liberation, we may be saved from repeated suffering. Take 6. So as we have seen, this portion, that is till verse 1 to 5, we discuss about what are the causes of destruction, and verse 5 discusses about the Falashruti. Now further 11 verses will see that Maitreya Muni is very eager to describe the character of Dhruva, or as soon, because he discussed here about the impiety or about this adharma, the lineage of adharma. Now he is very eager to discuss about piety, and that's why he starts describing about the character of Dhruva, wherein the story starts and we find Suruchi is chastising Dhruva, and what is the response of Dhruva here. So that we'll discuss here till verse 16. अदादा कीर्तये वंशम पुण्यकीर्ते कुरुद्वः स्वायंभुवस्यापि मनो हरेर अंशांश जन्मनः.
Maitreya continues, O best of the Kuru dynasty, I shall over Manu, who was born of a part of a plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So here Manoh Putra Vansham. So the sons of dynasty of Manu. Harer Ansho Brahma Tasya Anshat Dehad Adharma Janma Yasya. So sorry, not adharma. Tasyanshat Deha Dehardat Janma Yasya. So we find that how when it is mentioned there Harer Ansha. So that is referring to Lord Brahma, and from Lord Brahma Swayambhu Manu was born. So that is discussed here. Harer Anshanam Kapila Datta Yajna Pruthu Rushabhadinam Janmayatah Tasya. So who are these Harer Anshanshanam? So who are the portions of Lord Hari? So they are mentioned as by Vishnu Chakra Thakur says Lord Kapila, Lord Dattatreya, Lord Yagya, Lord Pruthu, and Lord Rishabdev, Adinam, and others. So their birth and activities are described. Purport. Lord Brahma is powerful expansion of the Supreme Godhead. Although Brahma is Jiva Tattva, he is empowered by the Lord, and therefore he is considered a plenary expansion of the Supreme Godhead. Harer Ansha. And from that plenary expansion, Swayambhu Manu was born. The great sage Maitreya is now going to explain about the descendants of this Manu, all of whom are widely celebrated for their pious activities. So before speaking of these pious descendants, Maitreya has already described the descendants of impious activities. We are repeating more than thrice, that is representing anger, envy, unpalatable speech, quarrel, fear, and death. Purposely, therefore, he is next relating the history of the life of Dhruva Maharaj, the most pious king within this universe. So, after describing this impious, the descendants of impious activities, now he is describing Dhruva Maharaj, who was most pious king. Take 7. प्रियव्रतोत्तानपादौ शतरूपापतेः सुतो वासुदेवस्य कलया रक्षायां जगदस्थितो.
Swayambhava Manu had two sons by his wife Shatarupa, and the names of the sons were Uttanapada and Priyavrata. Because both of them were descendants of a plenary expansion of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they were very competent to rule the universe and to maintain and protect the citizens.
Yeah. Jagato Rakshayam Sthito. They're meant for protecting the universe. वासुदेवस्य कलया कलारूपेण विष्णुना या जगतः रक्षा तस्यां क्रियायां स्थितो. Because they are portions of the Lord. So kalaya, that's why they're meant for jagata, for the protection of the world. So Prabhupada says here, it is said that these two kings, Uttanapad and Priyavrata, were specifically empowered by the Lord, unlike the great king Rishabha, who was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. So, can someone say, here it is mentioned that they were specifically empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unlike the great king Rishabha. So, why it is mentioned as unlike?
Because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not empowered, but he himself is Godhead, the Supreme Personality.
Yeah. So, Avishtah Sarvabhuteshu Rishabhadyah Swayam Harihi. So, he is Swayam Hari. Text 8. जाये उत्तानपादस्य सुनीतिः सुरुचिस्तयोः सुरुचिः प्रेयसी पत्यो नेतरा यत्सुतो ध्रुवः.
King Uttanapad had two twins, named Suniti and Suruchi. Suruchi was much more dear to the king. Suniti, who had a son named Dhruva, was not his favorite.
सुनीतिः सुरुचिश्च जाये तयोर्मध्ये इतरा सुनीतिः. So he had this two wives, Suniti and Suruchi, but tayormadhe, in both of them, he had more ruchi for Suruchi. So, and itara Sunitihi, Suniti was not dear to him. That's why Patyur Netra Yat Suto Dhruva. So Dhruva was the son of Itara, that is Suniti's son. Purport. The great sage Maitreya wanted to describe the pious activities of the kings. Priyavrata was the first son of Swayambhava Manu and Uttanapad was the second. But the great sage Maitreya immediately began to speak of Dhruva Maharaj, the son of Uttanapad, because Maitreya was very eager to describe pious activities. And Prabhupada says, from his pious actions, one can learn how one can detach himself from material possessions and how one can enhance one's devotional service by severe austerities and penances. So, what are benefits? One can enhance one's faith in God and can directly connect with the Supreme Lord. The example of Dhruva Maharaj's austerities can immediately generate a feeling of devotional service in the hearts of the hearers. So Prabhupada has given as Maitreya is very eager for describing. So Prabhupada is also so much eager that he has given all these details, what all things will happen simply by one who is hearing about the character of Dhruva Maharaj. Rishi Kumar.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. So I want this question. This the two wives of the king, one is Suniti and another is Suruchi. Is it a coincidence that one is Suruchi is beautiful or something like that, and another is Suniti who is very good in intelligence, something like that?
No, they are their names, and in general, we see in Vedic tradition they have the system based on what they will be. Accordingly, names are given. So, just like at the time of Parikshit's birth, all those details were described. What he is going to do in the future, So if you remember, because all those things are told beforehand, so these
True.
people they are very much uh, expert in that science. So they are able to give those names accordingly.
Okay. Yeah. Noted, bro. Thank you.
It's a clear. If you want, you can see many other examples also. I'm not saying only about Parikshit Maharaj, but you see so many examples. It gives complete clarity that these people, they were not simply for the namesake or gaining money or something like that. They had actually that proper understanding. If you see in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, the astrologer, he was able to see that when Lord Chaitanya he asked who was I, so in earlier life, so he was able to see that oh these he this form that form, but he was not able to believe because how will he believe? And that's why Lord Chaitanya says I was just golbal or like no I was a cowherd boy who was herding the cows like. So the point is yes they were having that potency whether it is 500 year back or earlier. Now also there may be some such people, just like it is said that those who are from Bhrugu Vansha, they have that kind of understanding. Even if you approach to their place, that they will tell you without you mention your name and all, they will tell you the details about where from you are coming and all that. So that shows that yes, there is possibility such people, those who have that kind of wisdom, they can give right names. Any issues with that?
Great, great. Yes. Nice, nice. Thanks for explanation.
Okay. So text 9. So we'll just complete reading translation till 16 and then we'll stop. Ekada suruche putram ankam aropya lalen uttamam naru rukshantam dhruvam rajabhyanandata.
Once upon a time, King Uttanapad was patting the son of Suruchi, Uttama, placing him on his lap. Dhruva Maharaj was also trying to get on the king's lap, but the king did not very much welcome him.
Yeah, so king did not welcome. Why? We'll see. Text 10. Tada chikeshamanam tam sapatnyaha tanayam dhruvam suruchihi shrunoto rajnyaha seshamahati garvita.
While the child Dhruva Maharaj was trying to get on the lap of his father, Suruchi, his stepmother, became very envious of the child, and with great pride she began to speak so as to be heard by the king himself.
What Suruchi says, here we find because of favoritism towards Suruchi, he could not welcome Dhruva. He had the same affection, but then so and Prabhupada speaks here about nature of woman and gives details that how sh- uh, she knew that king is favoring her, and so she spoke all these things. Therefore, it is concluded that the feminine nature of woman is present everywhere. So it is that time Swayambhu Manu's dynasty, their son. So we understand. Text 11. Na vatsanupater dhishnam bhavanarodhumarrati na gruhito maya yatvam kukshavapit nrupatmajaha.
Queen Suruchi told Dhruva Maharaj, "My dear child, you do not deserve to sit on the throne or on the lap of the king. Surely you are also the son of the king. But because you did not take your birth from my womb, you are not qualified to sit on your father's lap."
Yeah. So she is clarifying what is the case, and she says what is the action he should take. Why he was considered illegitimate? Because of his birth from the womb of the other queen, which is not favorite queen. Text 12. Balosi natmanam anyasri garva samrutam nunam veda bhavan yasya durlabherte manoratah.
My dear child, you are unaware that you were born not of my womb, but of another woman. Therefore, you should know that your attempt is doomed to failure. You are trying to fulfill a desire which is impossible to fulfill.
Yeah. So durlabhe, your whatever manorath is there, that is impossible. That's what she is saying. So when she is saying that you have taken birth from the Anyasri, that another woman, that's why. So here there is, we see earlier we discussed about aparakya bhav. Here we see that parakya bhav very clearly. And Prabhupada says this is another statement of Queen Suruchi's pride. Earlier statement, now another. Text 13. Tapasa आराध्य पुरुषं तस्यैवानुग्रहेण मे गर्भे त्वं साधयात्मानं यदिच्छसि नृपासनम्.
If you at all desire to rise to the throne of the king, then you have to undergo severe austerities. First of all, you must satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. And then, when you are favored by him because of such worship, you shall have to take your next birth from my womb.
Suruchi was so envious of Dhruva Maharaj that she indirectly asked him to change his body, that you die. Like she is saying nicely about how first you worship the Lord Narayan. By his favor, you will be able to take birth from my womb. So that is nothing wrong about it, about worshipping the Lord. So, but then according to her, first of all, he had to die, then take his next body in her womb, and only then would it be possible for Dhruva Maharaj to ascend the throne of his father, Nrupasanam. So, text 14. Maitreya Matuhu sapatnya sadruktividdha श्वसनृषा दंडहतो यता हि हित्वा मिशन्तं पितरं सन्नवाचम जगाम मातुः प्ररुदन सकाशम.
The sage Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, as a snake when struck by a stick, breathes very heavily, Dhruva Maharaj, having been struck by the strong words of his stepmother, began to breathe very heavily because of great anger. When he saw that his father was silent and did not protest, he immediately left the palace and went to his mother."
Yeah. So here we see, even though she spoke such strong words, but then and he being a kshatriya, he was breathing heavily because he felt great anger. But then he was waiting to see whether what father does, whether he chastises her and lets him sit on his lap. What he was just awaiting, and when he saw that there is no protest from the side of father, so immediately he left. Where he went? He went to his mother, because now he wants to seek justice. He wants to know what action he can take place. So father cannot give any idea or guidance. Whatever she said, he must follow. And now who will give the right understanding, right approach? So he is going to his mother. Text 15. Tam nishvasantam spurita dharoshtam sunitir utsanga uduyya balam निशम्य तत्पौर मुखान नितांतम सा विव्यते यद्गदितं सपत्न्या.
When Dhruva Maharaj reached his mother, His lips were trembling in anger, and he was crying very grievously. Queen Suniti immediately lifted her son onto her lap, while the palace residents who had heard all the harsh words of Suruchi related everything in detail. Thus Suniti also became greatly aggrieved.
Yeah, so not only Dhruva he is going to say, but even other palace residents, they are also saying what kind of words, like no harsh words were spoken by Suruchi. So it is like the atmosphere is surcharged with the understanding that Dhruva is insulted badly, and being Kshatriya, he is also feeling bad, and now being mother, naturally she is also very aggrieved due to the situation. Text 16. So srujyadairam vilalapa shoka davagnina davalate bala vakyam sapatnyah smarati saroja shriyadrusha bashpa kalamuvaha.
This incident was unbearable to Suniti's patience. She began to burn as if in a forest fire, and in her grief she became just like a burnt leaf and so lamented. As she remembered the words of her co-wife, her bright lotus-like face filled with tears, and thus she spoke.
Yeah, so we see here this was again unbearable. Why? Because when there was partiality towards her, that was okay, she was able to tolerate. But then now it is towards her son also, and that too, son is like no just 5 years old, and that too that kind of behavior, it is very painful, and that's why it is mentioned that she remembered those words and her lotus-like face filled with tears. When a man is aggrieved, he feels exactly like a burnt leaf in a forest fire. So, by this analogy, we can understand how much pain she is undergoing. Suniti's position was like that. Although her face was as beautiful as a lotus flower, it dried up because of the burning fire caused by the harsh words of her wife. So, further we'll discuss in the tomorrow's session from text 17. Any questions? If no questions, then we'll stop here. Rishi Kumar, too, should we stop?
Yes, bro. Thank you very much, bro. It was
Okay.
very detailed. You explained everything. Wonderful, bro.
Thank you very much, Rishi.
Thank
शिल
you.
प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद्
जय
भागवतम की जय, वंशा
जय
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
पंचकृपा
सिन्धुभ्येव च
सिंधु
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, शिल
नमः। जय
प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय
जय
गौर प्रेमानंद, हरि हरि
हरि हरि बोल।
हरे
थैंक यू
कृष्णा।
वेरी मच।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। हरे कृष्ण।
Right.